Hello there, and welcome to this new episode of People Drink Words, the podcast where you drink words, but not only. I am your host, Jean-Dominique, and today is going to be another kind of experiment. So I want to see what happens if I run an episode without a guest. Because as you know, in life, plans can change and shift, and you may have commitments that may not go all the way through because of time constraints or just any sort of reason. So I want to be able to just keep going and just put some thoughts out there, even if I can have necessarily like a guest that can either echo or contradict what I will be saying. So today's episode, I will be having some rosé, Baron d'Arignac 2017 that I got last Christmas when I went to Paris, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. Well, not too sweet, but I got some hints of red berries along a bit of pepper, like a slight hint of pepper. It's really nice to try it out. And yeah, let's just jump into what I want to talk about today. So today I want to talk about those Alabama abortion laws that you have to know, at least. You have to have heard. I've seen on Twitter some hashtag like some sort of no sex or whatever, sex strike from Alisa Milano. And but you may not know what this is all about, or at least you may not grab all the context. Just think, oh yeah, fuck these whole people who wanted to ban abortion, basically. So, to make it like in a couple sentences, a couple days ago, well, I think on Tuesday, Alabama passed some law to ban abortions after 6 weeks, I believe. Well, as soon as the heartbeat is detected, which, well, unless the mom is at risk of dying if she carries out with the birth of the child. And any doctor who'd attempt to, well, to attempt to help for an abortion would get jailed for 10 years. But if he actually goes through with the abortion, would go to jail up to 99 years, which is, well, that's dissuasive enough. If I'm a doctor, if I'm not actually in any kind of profession, I'm told if you do that one thing, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You will go to jail for 99 years. You can be sure as fuck I won't get anywhere near that thing. So it's basically banning abortions. Like there's no other word for it. So I've seen a lot of that. Can men have an opinion about these sort of topics? Which I don't know if it comes from a good place. As in, oh, you're a man, you don't have a vagina, so you can't tell us what to do with our bodies, which I agree to a certain extent. Like, we don't know how it is or how it feels, so we can't possibly imagine what would be the implications. Like, aside from the whole something traumatic happens to you, say a rape, and you have a baby, and you need to go through with it, to be forced to go through it after that first violation, get another one. It's like, say, an innocent being that comes in the world. Uh, it's not. How can I say that thing? It's really hard to take a stance on it because on one hand you can think about, okay, life of a baby, but then it's not really there yet. It's not a baby, it's just a bunch of cells that are there. And on the other hand, you like potential traumatic events, which, yeah, that's the main opposition that I'm seeing actually. It's not the I want to do whatever I want with my body. It's, well, what if I get raped? Can I not have an abortion? But then, not all abortions are the result of rape. Like, you can see people like, what tears me a bit on that topic is that I've heard people say publicly or even on private circles that they couldn't wait to have babies so they could abort them, which is the stupidest statement you can make. Because it has an impact on you. That's something that you carry with you for the rest of your life. It's not just I just about like I'm going to the bathroom and just take a shit. Like, it's no. That's something serious with serious consequences. So I can understand that politicians don't want to put a lid, like put some sort of restriction so that people can just randomly have sex and get rid of the baby, well, of the features, because not the baby, it's just the features at that point, like 8, 20 something weeks features. Get rid of it, keep it, do whatever you want. That's none of my business, but I think it's good to have that conversation, even though now it's with myself, about this sort of topic. So can women say some, well, we as men say something about it? I think we should be in the conversation because, well, you can rub rocks together. Rocks don't make babies. A woman's not going to make a baby with herself. You have a man involved, whether it's a loving companion, a one night stand, or a rapist. Then let's right now take out of the way the, actually not take it out of the way, but like address the rape thing. It's a terrible act. It's a heinous act that no one should be carrying, and no one should have to deal with that, nor the consequences of that action. And in that case, I am 100% for the women to have the choice to abort, because I can barely imagine how hard it must be to have, like, to be violated once, but then to have to see that little thing for the rest of your life that will have the face of your attacker. And if the genes are not nice with you, there will be a lot of likeness in there, which may make you hate a potential innocent being because of the sins of the father, basically. So in that case, I think, yeah, if you want to get rid of it, because that's what it is, you should be able to do it freely. So yeah, that's the abortion rate, like, yeah, 100%. Do whatever you want. And if you want to keep it, you deal with it. If you don't want to, don't. Or at least you shouldn't be forced to keep it. Like, government should not make you go through all these 9 months of pregnancy and then giving birth. Well, I'm guessing that some people say that, yeah, you don't have to abort it, you can have it and then give it away. But I don't think it gets that simple. That, oh, you have 9 months a baby inside you. You're not necessarily going to want to give it away. And when it's born, it's just a cute baby face. You're not going to want to give it out. But then later in your life, you're like, oh shit, it looks more and more like that rapist guy from 10 years, 20 years ago. And it's going to start making you hate that child. And I'm thinking, it can cause less pain than having to live with that. Like, I would say, you have less pain not living with something that doesn't exist yet than to have to live with something, learn to love it, and then it brings back painful memories from your past. So to that extent, yes, I think that should be a matter of choice for the women involved. And I think it's ridiculous that you have that a doctor who can have an action to help someone risks 99 years in jail, while somebody who caused the harm, who makes the doctor have to go through with that action, that abortion, get away with maybe 20 years if the justice system is harsh enough. And as I've observed recently, or maybe I've observed it because that made the news due to how crazy and ridiculous that is. There was that Brock Turner situation from, I think, 2016, like that guy who raped a girl behind a dumpster on his uni campus. And wait, fun fact, fun, depending on how you look at this, his dad came out through the media to say, well, my son should not be punished for 5 minutes of action. And nobody in their right mind would see raping an unconscious girl behind a dumpster in a uni as 5 minutes of action. Like, yeah, I can stab someone in the heart. 1 minute of action. Why should I go to jail for that? That's a dangerous road to go. It doesn't matter how long your action lasts. It's about the consequence of your action. Rape someone, that's going to follow them through the rest of their life, even if they don't get a baby afterwards. Murder someone, their life ends. So it doesn't matter if it's 1 second, 1 minute, 10 hours, 10 years. This is just a bullshit statement. Stupid statement. And you should not. Yeah, I don't understand. I guess he said that because it's his son, but at one point, what sort of parents are you to justify or defend actions so heinous as a rape of somebody who's unconscious behind a dumpster and say, oh, just 5 minutes of action, my son shouldn't be jailed for that. And interestingly enough, that guy didn't. Oh, well, he got 6 months in jail, and that's it. Now he's done. He doesn't even have to register as a sex offender, I think. Well, I need to double check that later on, but yeah, I don't think he even has. He's gonna have any mark of that through his life. Whereas that girl is just scar is gonna stay in her mind forever. She's gonna be hard for her to trust someone again or to build her life without having to live through that trauma. Even if they didn't release her name, but she will know. She will know until the end of her life what happened to her behind that dumpster. And luckily in that case, she didn't get pregnant, so she doesn't have to deal with the abortion situation, which I was trying to talk about today, but we can touch on so many different topics from that one entry point. And yeah, let's just move on. But yeah, Brock Turner, sex offender. Yeah, there's no mark on him, but let's remind him that. Maybe you can just put some. I think there's a website. BrockTurner.com might be the one where you can see a list of all the horrible shit he's done. And that's one of these things where I would be all for that cancel culture we have everywhere. There's some outrage culture. I mean, I don't know if you follow that James Charles situation or what's his name, that guy, Pro Jared, that gamer who cheated on his wife. And if you're gonna cancel people for doing legal shit, that motherfucker should not be able to work then either, because what he's done was heinous, illegal, and he got away with it. But I haven't seen that much outrage about it, so what's that about? I mean, just don't care because it doesn't affect you, it's not part of your, I would say, yeah, it's not part of things that you're seeing right now, or that you care enough. Yeah, maybe just don't care, and whatever. That's you, that's a you thing. So, yes, so that was the rape section. I just can't discuss it by it, so I'm gonna move past that and go back on the whole law thing. So I've seen that Misery joined in about, well, today actually, Misery joined in to have stricter abortion laws to ban all abortions after 8 weeks of pregnancy, which is interesting as in it's mostly Republican dominant states that are pushing that. And I heard through the grapevine, well, and by grapevine I mean some news shows here and there, whether mainstream or through internet, like YouTube, guys like Philip DeFranco and stuff like that, talking about like this not necessarily being about the abortion laws themselves, but just pushing a move to make some sort of national thing in the US to ban abortion altogether at the federal level. So one would say, yes, it's America's problem, but what if, because people are really good at twisting information and data to make it look like their actions work better and have the consequences they intend, what if we see a fall in the number of, I would say, unwanted pregnancies and that people start using condoms more? It's not going to be because that law goes through, but you could just take these numbers and say, oh look, we passed a law to make abortion stricter, and now people are more responsible, and that's actually a danger with what's happening there. Is that instead of using prevention and just talking to people and say, okay, have sex safely, make sure you get consent, all these things, it's gonna be a, no, look, you can't abort anymore. And, oh, there's less teenage pregnancies, for example, which to my opinion, is a good thing. You don't want to have a bunch of 16-year-olds having babies because they're still babies themselves. And then there are circumstances, yes, where, well, I don't see how that can work for someone that is not fully grown, that is not ready for life, to go on and just have a baby while living at her parents and not knowing what life is about, no work or anything like that. So, if anything, this is a dangerous road. That's the point I'm trying to make. That is a dangerous route to take, because now that they get that law in, they can do anything they want to make it look like this is a right thing to do. And maybe, if we ignore the whole stats thing, maybe Israel is gonna show they were right. But right now, like in the moment, I don't see how that can be. But I don't know enough about it. I don't have tons of experience around abortions either to know how that can scare someone and how long it lasts. Alright. So, yeah. So, oh yes, I've seen. So, yeah, I mentioned that at the beginning of the show. So, there's that sex strike thing that Alyssa Milano started, where she says that, okay, women in Alabama, sweet home Alabama, unite. Unite. Let's not have sex until that law gets reverted, which, well, I think is stupid. Stupid as in, not stupid as in sex strikes are stupid, because they might be useful. There have been cases, I googled briefly to see, okay, has that ever worked in the past? And I think there was some wars in Africa that were stopped because of sex strikes, but in that case, those were the wives of the guys who were just fighting and exterminating people who did it. And yeah, of course, some guys just going to murder, punch people, say, oh, you keep doing that, you don't have sex, boom, done, it stops. But in that one case, I think that's like just the Alabama Parliament or Congress, I'm not sure how they call that in the US, just some Alabama politicians that will have, that should be hurt by such a thing as a sex strike. But in that one case, you get Esmeralda who's gonna be like, oh no, husband, I'm with you. Like, and she's married with a guy who probably agrees with her on that point. I don't think her husband's gonna be like, nah, you know what? It shouldn't be abortions. Abortion shouldn't be a thing. Like, women can do whatever they want with their body, and I don't respect you. And yeah, that's the thing. So chances are he agrees with her on that, but he's not gonna get anything because some other guy did some bullshit. And to me, that's just a massive, stupid move. Maybe calling the congressmen wives on, like, you know, not having sex with their husbands until they revert the law. Well, I don't think they care at that point. Like, I mean, well, they can just go out and like, hey guy, I'm congressman, I'm rich. I'll fuck you for $20. Or okay, I don't know how much it's maybe 100 or whatever. So I don't think they will care much for not having sex with their wives. But then that's just a personal opinion. I don't know what the fact is for that for them. Well, I don't know them personally. I don't even know their names. I didn't even bother googling that. But I've seen some quotes around. I don't know if they're real or not. Where they're showing some guys' faces talking about how rape was not such a big deal. Okay, I'm going back to that rape hole. Or even women saying, congresswomen saying, "Oh yeah, not a big deal," which is fucked. That's a fucked thing to say. But maybe she's at that point where she's not getting any. To the point where she's like, well, I mean, where I am right now, like, not getting anything at all. So, you know what, I take rape. I take a little rape here and there. Like, and just, that's a weird place to be. That's what I want to say. That's a weird place to be. So yeah, back to that sex strike thing. So in history, it has worked a couple times, but only because the men were deprived of sex were the ones who actually had the power to change something. See what I mean? Like, you can't just hurt a bunch of innocent men who haven't done anything to deserve no sex. When they agree with you, they're like, yes, we're cool with you. Like, no sex for you. All men are the same. You can't touch anything until these guys over there that have nothing to do with your ideas change their mind and revert the laws. So that, yeah, I think that's just a pretty dumb thing to do. And yeah, but I've seen something else that she started, which I think is a little more clever, is calling on productions to stop being shot in Georgia, Alabama, whatever the state name is. And that's, yeah, Georgia, that's the one. And that's a bit more clever because when you want to move things around, money is a strong motivation. Like, that's the thing, I sometimes, mostly when I speak with vegans or people like against the big economies and whatever, or against capitalism, and tell me, oh yeah, if you want to hurt them, touch the money. And that's true for everyone. Like, if you don't want um, children's to be kind of, well, in France that's a policy that's been in place. Like, oh, if you don't want children to skip school, cut the parents' benefits. On one hand, I think, well, that might not be fair on the parent, but then if it's benefits to educate the children and that the children are not getting the education they should get, so why not? That's kind of fair. So to that extent, yeah, touch the money of these people, remove the money from the government. That's a good idea, I'd say. In terms of, well, the promise is good. Like, touch the money, they're gonna change their mind. But what if they don't? What if they don't care enough to change their mind? What if they say, well, we're just gonna raise the tax? Who gives a shit? Like, we're not gonna pay them. We're getting paid with them. The people paying taxes, like those hardworking people who just go work for like what, $10, £10 a day, they're the ones gonna have to pay more in the end. So even if it's a good idea, well, actually that can be a good idea because yeah, people who are living there with those low or average or whatever wage they have and end up paying more taxes because of decisions politicians made. Well, I don't think they're going to remember in 1 or 2 years or whenever the next elections for their parliament people comes up. Like, oh yeah, we're paying $10 more tax every month because this guy put some abortion laws 2 years ago. Nobody's going to remember that. Like, nobody's going to give a shit about that. So, actually, not even that, I don't see how that's going to work. I kind of like the premise of, like, yeah, let's herd the money and then we see what happens. But yeah, it doesn't seem like, at least as far as my brain goes around that thing, I don't see how that will help. Like, looks like the only way to do something that will be meaningful is to go and be a candidate for these elections and try to bring the change by yourself. Because if you rely on others, the fuck you gonna do? Like, you can rely on you to make a better world around yourself in general. And if you can have people that can help you achieve that, that's great. But you can't say 100%, alright, I'm going to trust these politicians to do what's best for me. Because chances are they're doing what's best for them. They're going to do what's best for the campaign funds and whatever works the best for their career and what can keep them in that warm seat where they get taxpayer money and can just chill, you know? And feel important because yes, they got some power despite being in theory servants of the people, but they're not gonna talk with you like they're your servant unless it's campaign time and then they need your voice to get elected and get more of that sweet dough and seat that you will give them. So I don't know how much it matters to them what you think. I guess it doesn't. It just doesn't. What was my original point? Yes, sex strikes dumb when they're kind of blind. They're like, oh, no men have sex. Because that's okay. Let's go back on that sex strike thing for a second. What do you think is gonna happen? So, best case scenario that is reflected by history is only the women of the politicians that made this decision on abortion laws decide to not have sex with their husbands until they revert the law. Alright, so what happens with that? Maybe they don't care anyways and just don't have sex with them and have tons of mistresses all around waiting to get some instead of their wives. So I don't see how that's effective. Now say, okay, take wives out of the picture. Mistresses. Mistresses are in there. They decide to go on the strike as well. Okay, so you get no wife, no mistress. Like, alright, well, prostitutes are the thing. And they work against, well, they have sex against money. And these guys got plenty of money, plenty of that taxpayer money. So probably they can just go there like, well, there's a strike, but they're never, like, I don't know actually. Are prostitutes ever on strikes? I never, that seems like a thing worth Googling. I don't know if I want to Google that, but that might be something good to Google, like for, research purposes. So yes, prostitutes, can they go on strikes? Yeah, I'm ripping the bottle to just get some more, a refill. And probably, like say they go on strikes. Alright, they go on strikes. What happens next? Well, maybe the politicians are gay. Like, what tells you they're straight men? Maybe they're just gay. And since it's just a women strike, then all the gay politicians who voted against abortion, they won't give a shit because they're like, well, I don't care, I'm gay, I like dick. And they're like, oh, well, too bad. Law stays. What you gonna do with this? And that's kind of gonna suck. That's gonna suck because the whole point of your strike that kind of goes to the toilet. But now let's say the wives, let's roll back all of that and just say, okay, the wives don't have sex and they're faithful men. Or faithful men as in they don't have sex with anyone. Anyway, they don't give a shit. And they'd rather just go and golf and chill on the boat, having expensive cigars and champagne. Well, sex is not a big deal for them. Like, it's not going to be the most entertaining or thrilling thing they do in their lives. I mean, it's just going to be the procreation tool, which might be why they're in that mindset that abortion should not be happening to begin with. Yeah, refilling a bit that wine tub. Why am I saying wine tub? That's stupid. Alright. So yes, rolling back that whole sex strike thing. Another thing that can happen, so yeah, let's say that the politicians have a iron will and they don't care about not having sex with their wives, right? Say all the men are deprived of sex. Then maybe the intent or the hope is that we become aggressive. Like women as a gender, we become aggressive because we don't have sex. Which, I've seen some of that. I've seen some guys getting aggressive because they get cock-blocked. So like, why not? That's a fair statement or a fair opinion to have. Alright. So then, that guy, like those guys say, you know what? We're tired of not having sex. We're gonna go to the Congress or whatever place where those Alabama politicians are gathered, and we will fuck them up. Let's go beat them down and see what good it does to them, and make sure they can stop those abortion, like revert these abortion laws, and then you can have sex again. I don't know that it's a good plan. I don't know that anyone would be stupid enough to go and, well, actually, if I think about it, probably someone somewhere is going to be stupid enough to try and do that. Try and go either beat out someone or shoot someone because not having sex enough. There's a whole conversation about that, like of people just like the whole mass shooters being mass shooters because they're not getting any, and that's possible. I'm not saying it's true. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it's a thing that's out there. That's just out there. Alright, so back to the... I'm going in circles on this motherfucker. So yes, back to the no sex strike thing. So guys decide to go to parliament, beat down people, go to jail, and they're just jailed. And they won't have sex with their wives anyways. So that doesn't seem like a really sound plan either. So what else could happen aside from... So we got the first one. Politicians not having sex to the point where they're, okay, I surrender. I want some pussy! And I will revert the abortion ban. I will use all my money and influence to revert that abortion ban. I don't see that one happening at all. But I guess that's a desired outcome from that sex strike, unless that was just an impulse tweet that she put out there and that she instantly realized, yeah, maybe it's not the cleverest thing to do. Second one, other men getting deprived of sex. Well, if there's actually, that's the thing, is if there's actually a follow through of that strike, that's the thing, because nothing says that even a woman in 10 is going to follow through, but say all the women follow through. So politicians, they won't crack. Regular men going as a mob to go and beat down and threaten and attack those politicians into submission so that they revert those laws. That seems like a thing that's more likely. Like, what one likes more than anything else is oneself. Like, you like... And if you're saying that you like something or someone more than yourself, you're a fucking liar. Nobody does. I love me more than anything or anyone, and so should you. Well, not love me, but like you should love you more than anything or anyone, because When you don't, that's when you start doing some real dumb shit that you end up regretting through the rest of your life. So yeah, love yourself. And why am I talking about loving yourself? Yeah. Okay, I kind of lost track on that one. So back, I probably should cut that out in editing. So yeah, back to the whole abortion thing. Politicians, they will resist. Men, they won't want to go to jail to have sex with their wives again, because if they're in jail, they won't have sex with their wives. Anyways, I mean, once every 6 months with the conjugal visit thing, I have no idea how that works. It's every month, every week, every like definitely not every day. That'd be too sweet a deal. Plus, nobody's gonna bother go to a jail 3 hours from their home to have sex with their husband when they have migraines and shit. Like, so yeah, virtually no more sex if you're in jail. All right. So if you move from these two, what else could possibly happen so that these politicians who voted that abortion law go back and like, okay, we fucked up. Let's just cancel everything. Nothing. There's virtually nothing at least nothing I can think of right now that would change that situation and make them decide, okay, we're going a little too far. Like we've gone a little too conservative on that one. Maybe it's time to roll back. Not happening. But I do find that interesting, like that the sex strike is a thing, and also the premise of that sex strike is that only men enjoy having sex and that women do it just to please them. But women like sex too, so I don't know why that would be a thing. Like, why would you harm your? Oh no, actually you could harm yourself for a cause. Like you get those people who do those hunger strikes. I'm not gonna eat for 6 months or a year until whatever happens. And do sex strikes? Do hunger strikes actually work? Because I don't recall seeing or hearing of any that worked. Like I think maybe Gandhi did a sex strike, not sex strike. Oh god, now it's stuck in my head. Sex strike. Maybe Gandhi had a hunger strike at some point that may have done something. I'm not quite sure. I know my history on India nor Great Britain. Should probably catch up on that now that I've been here for like what 6 years, something like yeah. Yeah. So hunger strikes. Like maybe the Gandhi one worked, but I think he did a little more than the hunger strike, if he did one. I'm not saying he did, because I'm not sure of what I'm saying on that one. So yeah, hunger strike. Yeah, I don't know. What sort of strike could you do to change things? Because hunger strike, I don't know. Sex strike, it's just on the premise that people you are with enjoy sex and you don't, and then you're doing it just to please them, which is bad in itself. Um, Alright, so what sort of strike can you do? Oh, a drinking strike. Well, you're dead in 3 days and nobody's gonna give a shit, anyways. So, yeah, that's definitely not one that's gonna work. Um, oh, I'm stupid. I'm French, and if there's a thing that we know more than anything is the worker strikes. Like, yes, not working. I'd like that's one that I'd like to see in Alabama. So try that out. Stop working for 6 months, see what happens. Because in France, there's like that yellow jacket movement that's been happening since. I can't believe that thing's been on for like since November last year, and nothing really changed. Like the only thing that changed that that whole we're gonna what's the name? We're gonna give you some money like £100 a month or some shit like that, so that you can chill the fuck down, because that law was not a big deal to begin with. Like there was some tax, some to give you some context on what happened in France. There was like that gas tax price, like under the flag of ecology, which come on, come on, it's not ecology. It's money. It's a little check that you could grab from people, and you're like, okay, let's sneak in like some ecology guys and say, all right, we're gonna get some money from you. Which, from memory, a lot of people were okay with a few years back, because of okay, that ecology tax is gonna eat people with those big cars and those planes, like rich people. Because let's be honest here, we don't really like people doing better than us, or at least that's where we are when we begin, like looking around. When you start comparing yourself with someone else, you're gonna kind of start hating a bit. You're like, nah, you're you're doing much better, but you shouldn't. Like, I don't think you deserve it. I don't know you. I don't know anything about you, but my opinion is that you probably don't deserve it, and I should have that, what you have. So when anything that's like, oh, we're gonna put a tax that's gonna take some from you, I'm like, yeah. But then the tax was eating everyone. Like, fuck no, we're going in the streets now. So that's basically Yellow Jacket in a nutshell in France. So it's been going on, say in November. It's been it dropped really hard after Christmas, and then from what I know, like there's still a couple of things here and there. There's less and less people supporting and going there, so they've become also more violent, which gets less support. And now I heard recently like that President Macron's like, you know what, I don't care anymore, just move on. He basically said that, like, just move on. Some people need to grow. I did all I could, which is nothing. Let's be honest here. It did jack shit. The thing he did is like, okay, I'm gonna give you some money so you can chill the fuck down, and but yeah, it doesn't tell where the money comes from. But we all know, like, if you think 2 seconds, you know the money is gonna come from the people. Is gonna give it back to you. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put in some ninja taxes here and there. Like, you won't pay too much attention in 6 months or a year. I'll raise taxes a bit, a little bit. Not on the gas because it was a little too big. You didn't like that one. I'm gonna leave it up and put it somewhere, like maybe in food or sugar or whatever, something like that. And then he decided to just tell people to move on. And chances are they will. Like, there's not many yellow vests left. They're turning more and more violent. The violent one get trialed, jailed. I'm guessing lose jobs in the process as well. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's anything to gain being a yellow jacket on a roundabout on Saturday afternoon anymore. Yeah. But yes, back to my point. Work strikes. So work strikes, which actually have nothing to do with yellow vest. I just want to talk about them because it came through my mind like now. So yeah, work strikes. Like, strikes are a thing that French people are world famous for. Like, and it's insane. Like, being in the UK, I haven't seen a strike. Like, yes, I saw one tube strike once, and like, yeah, I barely saw that thing. But in France, strikes will fuck your day up because not only they will not work in key areas like, no tube, no whatever, but they will go and attack the people who will be willing to work. Like when there was the VTC strikes, like those car drivers were having that strike. Because they, oh well, government doesn't respect us because there's Ubers and shit. Those guys were ordering Ubers and other taxis to know who was working to then beat them up and also attack the people who were in the cars. I'm like, well, that's fucked up. That's why nobody's supporting you. Nobody's going to support you if you do shits like that. And that's basically what seems to have been happening with the yellow vest over the past few months. I didn't follow it too closely because nobody really cares anymore. Like, I only remembered them because the French president, mentioned them yesterday. Like, well, he didn't even mention it. He just said, you know what, guys? I did all I could on my hand. Move on. Move the fuck on. And I kind of agree with him. Well, I actually thought that, like, when they started, like, okay, yeah, gas tax raises. All taxes raise all the time. And you're not going to block a country for 6 months and get job losses, money loss for companies, which is going to be less jobs, which is going to be less money, and yet the tax is still going to be there. You're still going to have to pay for it. Even if they're like, oh yeah, but we're going to slip you like 100 euros. Yeah, what good is 100 euros in the year when you don't have a job? When you have no job, no money, oh, at least I get this little 100 euros for the year. That's gonna do some good on me. It's not gonna do shit. It's gonna do jack shit, and that's thing I've been kind of learning over the past few years. The whole balancing, like min-maxing shit in life. When I do something, what's the best outcome I can get, and what's the worst outcome I can get, and then from there, okay, from that best outcome I can get for that move, what is the worst thing that can happen after that? Or what's the best thing that can happen after that? And after a few iterations of that thing, I pick one of those where the worst action brings the best outcome. Like kind of an averaging thing, that's some mathematical whatever. But yeah, that's kind of how I go try to navigate through like okay, I'm doing that thing, I'm doing that thing. What's the worst thing that can happen now? Oh, that's not that bad. Okay, I can do that. Boom, let's do it. That can be a big reward for little risk, or a risk that I'm ready to deal with the consequences of. Like with Bitcoin, like a few years, like last year, actually no, late 2017 when people started talking about it, and I should have been really worried about that. Like that, people starting to talk more and more about it. Like back then, I think Ethereum was around £200, and Bitcoin was maybe a 2k, 3k, something like that. No, maybe it was at 4 5k. Yeah. And then so I bought a bit. I bought a bit to my girlfriend, and it's like, okay, let's get some Bitcoin, let's get some of that Ethereum, some of that paper, like. And what motivated us at first to get some is like, okay, that can be kind of an investment because it's going up. So if it goes up, well, it's just gonna keep going up, which was a stupid thing to think. But at the same time, we thought, okay, it might keep going up, but let's not say, oh, let's take out savings and put them in there, you know? Because if you take your savings and put them in something that you're not certain about or that you know nothing about, you're gambling with your future. And that's a dangerous thing to do because I've seen stories of families remortgaging their houses to buy Bitcoin, and they got so fucked in January. Like, well, actually, January was the sweet spot where I should have sold. Like, I couldn't sell because I created an app like that Coins Profit app. And to create the app like an idiot, I created another Coinbase account where I use my phone number to validate the account because, well, I'm not going to buy another phone to validate an account on some website. And they blocked my main account where the money was, well, where the Bitcoin Ethereum was. So this whole time, I just couldn't be bothered to go and block it because it was taking too much of my time. And yeah, that was just kind of bullshit. And I had like my French documents that was saying that I was in France, so I couldn't use them to authenticate, like to validate my account on Coinbase. So basically, everything that I had there was stuck. And then when I saw the dip happening, well, not the dip, like when value of those coins started going down, okay, now I should sell. Now I should sell. Like, well, okay, let's try to get that thing unblocked. And that just wasn't happening. Support was extremely slow. And I'm thinking sometimes, what if that was on purpose, that they were slow to people who were stuck with their money in there so that they don't pull the money out and they can keep it. They can keep it until the value goes too low so that you don't want to remove the money from your Coinbase account. Which maybe not. Maybe it's just an accident. Maybe it just happened that I was one of these people who had an account blocked because they created an app to use some APIs and show people how much they spent and how much they lost. Because yeah, that was the premise of the app. Like, see how much you spent, see how much you own right now, and see the difference. Something pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Oh, by the way, it's on the App Store still. Coins Profit if you want to have a look. Like, yeah, just bring a shout out from me. Yes. So back to the coins thing, which came from the risks thing. So yes, when you do something in life, try to figure out, okay, if I do that, what's the worst thing that can happen to me? And if you're fine with the consequences, then do it. If not, don't do it. And circling back to abortions, it's a serious thing. If you're ready, if you happen to be pregnant, something, and you don't know what to do, you should talk to people around you, talk to a psychologist, and try to figure out what is the worst thing that happens to you if you do it, and what's the worst thing that can happen if you don't do it. And from there, you can make your decision, just making sure that you talk with as many people as possible to get as much input and information as possible to make the best possible move for yourself. Because if you don't make the best possible move for yourself, no one will. And yes, it's possible that someone makes a move for you that will be good for you, but they won't make it necessarily because it's good for you, but more because it's going to be good for them, and it happens to be good for you as well. And those are the best situations where you get some win-wins. It's good. It's always good to have. But I wouldn't rely on that personally. Yeah, yeah. I need to cut this part when I'm drinking because that's a lot of holes. I listened to the thing in the end, anyways. Whatever. I should cut that whole part. So yes, experiment again. Choices. So we talk about those the pro-choice movement, which people point like use as a sweeter word for pro-abortion, which I don't think it is necessarily a pro-abortion thing. It's more of a I want you to have a choice. I might be against what you want to do, but I'm fine with you having the freedom to do it. Except murder and rape. Like, if you want to do one of these things, well, then fuck you first. And yeah, if you want to kill someone, you go first. You go through the window and nobody's gonna miss you. Right. So where was I at? Yes, choices. Try to when you make decisions, just try to be informed on what you're doing and what you intend on doing and what consequences it can bring to you because some abortions might not be the result of heinous actions from terrible people. They may be result of stupid action from stupid people. They're like, oh shit, I really want to get laid and I didn't care about STIs or pregnancy, so I didn't bother getting a condom because I thought that wasn't hot. I'm like, you're dumb. You're fucking dumb. And yeah, I'm actually you people specifically. I encourage you to get an abortion. We do not want more of. Well, it's actually too much to speak like we. Let's say it's the royal we. I do not want more of you on this planet. I do not want more stupid people because we have enough of that already. So yeah, if stupid shit that's human. So that should actually be another compelling argument for abortion. That some people carrying abortions, I'm not saying all of them, but like there are cases. I'm sure there are cases out there of people who get abortions because simply because they can, or because they can't wait to get pregnant to get an abortion. And I can't believe I heard that. Stupid as shit. Like that's the worst thing because it leaves a scar on people, and you can tell that these people never had to deal with an abortion whatsoever. Because if they did, they would never even think such stupid things. And I don't wish them to go through it because that's just a waste. And I don't think they will learn from having to deal with that situation. Maybe they will, because people can change overall. That's not a thing that I wish people to have to deal with. That's not a thing that you should wish to have to deal with because it's not. There's nothing easy around that. There's nothing easy around that. Yes. So where was I? Well, we passed the 40. Oh, we almost at 50 minutes on this episode. So what am I gonna do next? Like I don't really know. Like that was about the whole abortion laws in Alabama. So what do you think about it? Like is it something that you're for? Do you think that people should not be able to abort children? Well, not children, babies, babies. Well, babies, not babies either because there's fetuses. Should people be able to abort fetuses within the current laws that we have, say, in the UK, which is I think 20 something weeks that you have instead of 6 weeks, which is often too late. Like that's when you notice pregnancy symptoms. Like, oh, oh, you might be pregnant. Too late. Gotcha. No. Yeah, I don't think we should go on that game. Like, because what good is it gonna bring? Like, if you say, oh yeah, but we want to protect innocent lives, how about you take care of the children that are alive already and that get adopted everywhere, or that there's a whole bunch of orphanages with children that are there crawling. So if you care that much about these children, go grab them, take care of them, and then you can ask to get more of children sent to orphanages through stopping abortions. Yeah, once you take care of all of them, like okay, we're kind of lacking orphans right now. Can we get some more? Like, can we get a little, stop some abortions, get some more orphans around here? Like, we need some more of that. I don't think we do. Well, I mean, obviously, I guess you got the tone of what I was saying. Um, yeah. So, what happens in people's ass is none of my business, and it shouldn't be any of yours. Only yours should matter to you, and you shouldn't be trying to legislate what happens to others. because that's just wrong. And yeah, maybe you don't like I would say I am getting lost on that shit. And that's been long enough. I've been recording myself, talking to myself for long enough. And if there was any episode with me talking that much and someone else talking that much, that'd be like, yeah, 2 hour episode. I don't say no to 2 hour episodes. Like, I actually think that could be a cool thing to have. Like, if, again, episode with conversation that goes so long and so well that for 2, 3, 4, 5 hours we keep going, I'll take that. Like, yeah, that because that means that it will be truly interesting and I will want to go deeper on that topic. And I think I'm starting to make too many pauses while talking. So I'm just going to wrap that up. So to summarize, abortion laws in Alabama, now Missouri, well, think stupid. I think the reason for which I suspect they're doing it to try to overturn like to change laws all over the country by reverting that whole jurisprudence. Like, I think it's Roe versus Wade, the first one that put in place like those abortion laws to begin with to be 20 something weeks before you can abort. Well, 20ish weeks that you have to abort a fetus. That's just, why would you do that? Why would you do something like that? Like, yes, I know politics, cynicism, whatever, but that's just wrong. So yeah, let's just move past that one. Yes, the rape argument, I hear it. I don't think it's the majority, but this is definitely one of these cases where I would be 200% on support of people who want to abort. Then, for the other cases, I don't necessarily agree with. That's the thing. That's hard. That's hard because on one hand, I don't want people to just go randomly have sex so that they can abort because aborting is an option. And like, oh, I'm just not gonna wear condoms because I can abort afterwards. I think it's stupid. But at the same time, because it's so stupid, I'm thinking, well, you're stupid. I don't want more of you on this planet. So go ahead. Yeah, that's more abortion arguments. Basically, abortions should be legal. That is the motherfucking T, biatch. Ah, was that necessary? I don't know. But that was People Drink Words, the podcast where you drink words. But not only. This was your host, Jean-Dominique. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed that new experiment. Bye bye!